If anybody wants to view the recording after the session, you'll be able to go back and view it. Hopefully, you may have had a chance to view the one that we did the other day. If you didn't, don't worry about it. We're going to cover the same thing here tonight. And if you have any questions, since we only have three people on the call, please feel free to come off the mute and join the call and ask any kind of questions you might have, or you can throw them into the chat and I can help you out there as well. We'll talk about, first of all, what we're going to cover this evening. I'm going to do a demo of the Sharpnote software, which is basically, I'm going to walk you through everything from basically getting started, choosing which level of membership you want to join, and then how to use the software to create a job and complete a signing. So first question I have for everybody is who here is already a remote online notary? Can you come off mute and tell me that?
I am.
Hakeem, you're already a remote notary. How about Cheryl or Holly? I guess not. Okay. You'll see some similarities with this system and other systems that you've used. And I'll also talk about some of the things that I have attempted to improve the process to make it a little bit easier for the notaries to use as we get through here. Excuse me. So to start off with, I'm gonna walk you through where we do our initial setup. When you go to the Sharpnote page, you're going to see an option down here at the very bottom on the right that says register here, and you'll click on register here, and then you'll go right into I'm a notary and sign up as a notary. We'll talk about the different levels here in a minute, but I want to show you first of all how you create. I got one more person joining the call here, looks like. We're talking about it now, how we create the initial registration on the site. All you're going to do is fill in your information. Your email address will be there. Confirm your email address and your phone. Put in your commission number and state and your commission expiration, and then choose a password. Now, since you guys are joining here from the meeting we did with Signing Agent Basics, you want to put in the referral code SAB. That's Sierra Alpha Bravo. That's going to be able to get you the discounts that we'll talk about on the levels, and then just agree to the terms and service and the e-consent, and you'll be able to create your notary account. Now, that does not activate you, that just creates the account. You'll still need to go in and complete your profile with the rest of your notary information, and I'll go through that with you here in a second. But that gets your initial account created. Now, once your initial account is created, you can go back here to the login screen, and I'm going to log in as a sample notary that I've already created so you can see how this works here. Um, Always got to get our codes here. So let me go ahead and grab that six-digit code. Eight, six. All right, so I'm already logged into the system here, and we'll go through the whole dashboard here and show you how the dashboard is laid out. To complete your profile, you're going to go over here to the left-hand side and hit Profile, go into your account, and you can complete your account information like your address, city, state, zip, and upload your signature. And just a reminder, when you go to upload your signature as a notary, you cannot use the font-based signatures. You have to actually upload a photo of your signature and initials. We will not accept the font-based signatures because the notary needs to use their actual signature on the documents. So just sign a white piece of paper, take a photo of it, and use the update signature function to put that in there. When you go to do your credentials, you'll see the same things here. You also want to take a picture of your stamp. Just again, stamp a piece of paper, take a photo of it, and send it to me, and we will create your electronic stamp for you. And you're going to this is all standard information. You got to have your commission number, expiration date, your E&O insurance, and E&O expiration date. You have to have a minimum of $25,000 in E&O to be able to use the platform. I personally require my employee notaries to have 100,000. I really recommend that you get at least 100,000, and I'll tell you why that is. It wasn't very long ago that I had to go to court on a notarization that I did where a spouse was saying she did not sign the papers that we had done together for selling their house because they were going through a mortgage a divorce and she didn't want to split the proceeds on the house.
Mhm.
So she said she didn't sign, and I had to go to court to prove it. If I had, for some reason, not had the proof, if I didn't have the recording and the stuff of that nature, if something had glitched on the system and that information had been lost, I could have been liable for the sale of that house, which happened to be $500,000. $100,000 in E&O insurance doesn't even begin to cover that. So I've got a couple more people joining the call here. So really, for the little bit of money that it costs to get $100,000 in E&O, I really recommend you do at least that. I personally carry $250,000 in E&O, and I wonder sometime if that's enough. Um,
Mhm.
if you happen to be NSA certified, go ahead and put that in there. That's just so that when we create your marketing page, we'll be able to include that information on your marketing page. We're not requiring that you be NSA survey certified to be able to use our software. I will tell you that if we ever send business out to a notary, we would prefer to send the business out to someone who's NSA certified because most of what we do is title-based work.
Mhm.
You will need your digital certificate. The digital certificate is the signing certificate that you get either from the National Notary Association or IdenTrust or another certificate authority. If you don't know what a digital certificate is, you're going to want to do a little research on that or get back with me after the meeting and I'll explain it. But you can get that from IdenTrust, is where I get mine from. You can get it from National Notary Association. And I think the cost is around $85 or $90 a year for that. So you can get that digital certificate. The digital certificate is attached to every document that you sign to validate the document and to make it tamper evidence, so nobody can go back and change that
Mhm.
document without it being invalidated. For your marketing profile, you want to put up a photo, a logo if you have one, and tell us a little bit about yourself so that when we create your marketing page, you'll be able to have that information displayed on your page, and then you would just save your profile there. Okay, so that's basically all we need to do to complete the profile. Once the profile is complete, it'll take me 24 to 48 hours to get that profile approved. I do that manually. We do not have an automated process for doing that because we want to check everything manually on our
Mhm.
notaries to make sure we're fully compliant. And then the next thing you'll need to do is you'll need to choose which subscription level you want to go with. There are three different subscription levels you can choose. Level one is just a basic notary subscription. If you choose the level one package, it's $19.95 a month, and each signing will cost you $12 for the signing, and of course the ID verification is $2 to do an ID
Mhm.
verification. If you choose the level two plan, the price per month goes to $29.95. Your cost per signing drops to $10. And that's for as long as the signing takes, as many signers, I don't care how many seals you use, it's a flat fee for the signing. And if you go with the level three plan, it's $49.95 and your signings are $8 per signing.
Mhm.
You get a couple of other benefits with the level three. For example, we have a follow-up program that we will automatically follow up on your clients by sending them some follow-up emails. That's one big thing. You get a small CRM package that goes along with that, and some additional marketing tools that you can use that we're going to go through a little bit later. The way you pay for sessions is by using a wallet. The online wallet is where you put money in to pay for a notary session. You have to have $20 in your wallet in order to be able to start a notary session. Now, every month, at the beginning of each month, you will be given $20 credit into your wallet. That's automatic. When you pay your monthly fee, you're automatically given a $20 credit. So basically, whatever you're paying for your monthly fee is going right back in to your wallet, so you can use that for a signing. So your first signing every month is covered that way. If you're on the level two plan, you pay $29.95. You're going to get a $20 credit, and then the cost of your meetings is $10. So you got a couple of your meetings already covered there on the level two plan. Excuse me. So you can see then in this particular case here, this person has a $120 available balance, $100 that they could withdraw. So in this example, this person paid $100 onto their wallet so they could use it for future signings, but they already had a $20 credit. you're going to get that credit every month automatically as long as you remain a member with the system. The public profile we talked about, this is where you're going to put in your personal information, your bio, and it's going to set up a marketing page for you, so you'll be able to use that. So you can give that to people like a business card for the web that'll have a calendar on it where people can book an appointment and things of that nature. Okay. So to kind of finish up the tour of the main page here, we talked about the profile section where you can build your profile. We talked about the wallet. You've got some notary settings down here where you'll be able to set your availability. You're going to want to set your availability on the system so that when you set up your marketing page, people will be able to see when you're available and book with you directly. So that's where that'll come in handy. Like you have a calendar view here where you'll be able to see when you're available. You have to set up your marketing calendar, or all of this is going to be you're not going to have any green areas. You're not going to have any place that you can set up an appointment. And this is a sample notary, so there's nothing on the calendar for this person right now. You will have your notary log in here so you can see every notarization that you do. This is the compliant notary log that you have to have for your online notarizations. This is an immutable log. Immutable means that once information is put on the notary log, it cannot be changed and you cannot delete it. You can download it. You can download it to a CSV file and do whatever you want with that CSV file. But as far as what's verifiable on the system, this never gets deleted. It never gets updated. This is permanently stored on an Amazon S3 server, so it remains fully compliant. And we'll talk about shortcuts here in a little bit, but I'm not going to cover that right now. And the log section right here, this is mainly for if you ever have to talk to tech support and they need to know something about what's in the log, they'll be able to pull up your log and see what's working. Again, this is just a sample notary, so the log is not actually working here on this one. So the log is just there so that so admin will be able to see what's happening with that file in case something is not working properly. All right, so getting back up to the main page. This is the dashboard. The dashboard shows any jobs that you have pending and any jobs that have been completed. This sample notary has completed several jobs, and I can go in here and look at any of those completed jobs. Once a job is completed, we can go in here to the dashboard and we can see the documents, the audit trail, the certificate of authenticity, who the signers were, and download a copy of the recording. So all that information is available to the notaries. It's also available to the signers. So for example here, if I go in here to the certificate of authenticity on this one, and let's see if I can open that up here. I don't know, you have to tell me if you can see this or not. You should be able to see this certificate of authenticity, I hope. Hopefully everybody can see that. It just basically gives you
Oh,
everything you
there it
need to know
is.
about that session. Everything that's on and you also have access to the audit trail, the ID reports. Everything is right there on the same session. So if I wanted to pull up an ID report, you can see on the ID report, I can see the front of the ID, the back of the ID. Again, being a sample, it's not going to have any information on there, but it will have all that information on a live system there. Um, Now, before the session is complete, you will not see these completed screen. You'll see basically the dashboard where you can go in and make changes, and I'll show you that here in a second. Let's go through creating a new job just for the sake of numbers. I have a couple of sample clients. Their names are John Robert Smith and Candace Smith. So I'm going to create an order for John and Candace Smith. To do that, what I'll do is I'll go up here to the upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to click on New Order. New notary business order. You don't have to put in the property address. That's just there for your reference. You do need to put in an order type because this is what goes into your notary log. So let's say I'm going to do a seller side title closing. That's what will be recorded in my notary log for the type of job that I'm doing or the type of notarization that we're doing. Um, if you need KBA to be done with the knowledge base authentication, if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it here in a minute. You can choose right there to have the KBA done. By default, it's going to default to whatever your state requires. So if you're in Virginia, KBA is not required, so we don't prompt for it automatically. If you are in Texas, you won't have the option of turning it off because it's always required. And I don't know what state everybody is from here today, but it's going to be based on your state. If you're in the state of Florida, you're not going to be required to do KBA on every signing, but the title company may require it, or your signers, whoever's ordering the signing, may require KBA. So you have the option of turning it on a case-by-case basis if it's not required. So we got the name of the notary, we've got the type of closing, we got the address if you want to put it in there, and then I'm going to, excuse me, not the name of the notary, but the name of the signer is what we have there. And then we're going to go right into the date and time. Let's say I'm going to do this one tomorrow. Um, I don't have any times on my calendar for tomorrow. That's last month. I'm sorry. There we go. For tomorrow is the 30th, and I want to do this at 8 a.m. So I'm going to set an appointment for 8 a.m. These times are available on my calendar. You can see I can't choose anything past 4 o'clock because I don't have anything available over here on my availability for anything past 4 o'clock. So I'm just going to go ahead and set it for 8 a.m. And then I can put in my signers information. I said we're going to do Robert and Candace Smith. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Robert Smith. Um, and I'm going to make up a couple of email addresses just so we can see what that does. I'm not going to put a phone number on these. You're not required to put a phone number in. It's a good idea to put the phone number in if you have one on a live signing. Um, just in case you have to get a hold of the signer, it gives you an easy place to find that information.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have two signers on the order. Now, if you've ever done any title work, you know a lot of times when the title company will place an order, they won't have the documents ready yet. Sometimes the documents are ready. You can go ahead and get them set up and get the order completed. Other times you have to go ahead and get the information out to the signers, and the documents will be coming on the day of the signing. So I'm not going to put any documents in this right now. We'll come back and add the documents to it later. The last step here is we're going to see here that we have. This is a level one notary, so you can see the wallet's going to be charged $12 and then $2 for each of the IDs. So a total of $16 is what this is going to be charged. That will be charged when the notary session is complete. And we can see the rest of the notary information is already in here. The notary's email, the signer's names are all there, and we can go ahead and submit that order. And that's going to show up on the list. It says that I have one job that needs to be accepted. So I'm just going to go ahead and accept that job. When you accept the job, the emails to notify the signers are automatically sent out. So John and Robert Smith excuse me, John and Candace Smith just received an email saying that they got a job pending for tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. When they receive that email, they're going to need to go in and create an account on the system if they don't already have one, and then complete their ID verification, which means they're going to have to go through and do a photo of the front and back of their ID and a selfie, and our system will go ahead and um, approve their ID. If they're required to do KBA, the KBA questions will be done after the ID is approved. We always get the ID approval first, and then we do the KBA questions if they're necessary. Um, on our system, everybody does front and back of their ID and a selfie for facial matching. Some of the other systems you've seen, like PandaDoc or Proof, or some of these others, do not require that extra step of verification when we're doing the facial matching. Our system will always do the facial matching just to make sure that we have a valid ID.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we have that job in there, and if I click on that job, you'll see this is exactly what we set up. We got Robert Smith here. We got Candace Smith here. They haven't done their signatures, their initials, or their ID, so they're not set up yet. I can't view their IDs or anything of that nature. There are no documents on this order, so I'm going to have to add a document here in a second. And we're going to go through how to tag the documents and start a session here momentarily. So to add a new document, I'm going to click on Select Files, and I'm going to go over here and pick a sample package as soon as I find my samples. Let's see, sample docs, sample closing package must be in the PDF format. If you have a doc file or an image file, you'll need to convert it to a PDF file before you put it in our system. Our system only supports PDFs. So now we have the document in there. We could view the document. The signers would also be able to log in and view the document prior to the signing, or they can wait until the actual signing time and then join the meeting. Up here at the top, we have view docs. We can tag the docs, which is setting up pre-tagging the documents for the session. We can start the signing session. We can reschedule the job for a different time. Once the job is complete, we'll use the complete job button to show that the job is completely done and ready to download. We can see the documents here. We can add new documents. We can delete documents. You can put as many documents in here as you want. I've had as many as 20 documents listed down here. So it really depends on what you want to set up there. You can add a new signer. You can add a witness if you need a witness on the package, and you would just fill in their information to add that information on there. You can send reminders to the signers. If the signers say, "Well, I didn't get the email that you sent to me," if you hit that button right there, it's going to send a new email. You can edit the signer's information, put in their phone, their email, change their email address, change their name if it's spelled wrong or something of that nature. And of course, you can delete the signer as well. So if I wanted to add a witness in here, I could go in here and say, I'm going to add a witness, and I'm just going to pick a name here to add in here. And that witness would receive a message that they need to join that meeting at the same time so they can join the meeting as well. The signers will be required to complete their ID even if they're a witness. Witnesses have to complete their IDs the same as signers do because that's a requirement of law. All right, now to tag the documents. I'm going to hit tag. And when I tag the documents, everybody should see here that we have the documents appear on the screen. Um,
Mhm.
this is this is the signing engine and the tagging engine. They look very similar. I'll show you the difference as we get into signing here in a couple of minutes. Right now, there's no video on the left-hand side because we're just tagging the documents. We're not signing yet. We can see a list of all the documents in the package right here. In this case, there's only one document package, so we just have one document here. We can see what page number one, and if we scroll through here, you can see the page number changes. We don't use page sync in the tagging session. Page sync is used in the signing session where if we want to put everybody on the same page, we hit page sync and everybody is moved to the same page. And of course, we have the ability to change our text size. Over here on the right, we can see the names of our signers. And over down below that, you can see the tags that we can place on a document. Tagging a document is very easy. Now, if you're not familiar with online signing, tagging basically means it's like going through and putting little yellow sticky notes wherever you need somebody to sign. When I used to do on mobile notary, where I'd go out to people's houses to sign documents, before I would go out there, I would go through the document and use yellow sticky notes to mark every place that I need to get a signature. That way, I wouldn't forget when I was at their house to get that particular signature. Sometimes the title companies, when they send me a package, will already have them. They'll have the little yellow sticky notes on them to let me know where everything needs to be signed. In this case, we're doing those sticky notes by using tags. So when I
Mhm.
go down here to a signature block, I've got John Robert Smith, I got Candace Marie Smith, and I got a couple of date tags I need to put on here. On the right-hand side, if I want to put Robert's signature on here, I'm going to click on Robert, click on signature, and then click where I want it to go. I can click on Candace, click on signature, and click where I want it to go. And there are shortcuts for doing this, so you don't have to go over here to the menu every time. On the top of the keyboard, if you use the 1, 2, and 3 keys, you will switch from Robert to Candace to Robin just by using the number keys at the top of the keyboard. If you look over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see as I click those different numbers, the active user changes. And if I want to do Robert and then put a signature in there, you see this little S next to signature. So I can just type in S and I'm going to put Robert's signature in there. If I want to put Candace's signature in, I can hit the number 2. That's going to make Candace active.
Mhm.
And since the signature is already active, I don't have to do anything else. I can just click right below there and go ahead and put Candace's signature in. I'm going to go ahead and delete those out for now. And then for the dates, I'm going to go ahead and just hit the D key for date, and I can place the dates in there. When I go down to the next page, go down where I need to tag the next one, this is for Robert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 1 for Robert, S for signature, and put the signature tag in there. And then I'm going to hit 2 for Candace, hit the green tag, and then D for date,
Mhm.
and click twice there to put those dates in there. So it's real quick and easy. I can usually tag an entire document set for a title closing 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes at
Mhm.
most. So I can go through here very quickly and tag this document all the way through. And I'll show you when we get down a little bit further where we get to the notary sections, how we tag that as well. I know we're going to need an address, so I'm going to go ahead and put a text box there. Um, and we're going to go right on down. This is the banking information for them. I'm going to go ahead and get that tagged. And we're going to go right into the warranty deed. Now here, I got to put a date in here. We're going to be signing this tomorrow, so I put a text tag up there, and I'm going to double click on the text tag and type in 30th because that's when I'm going to be signing it. 1 and 2 for them, and then I've got a text tag for the state. Double click it and put in Virginia because I know that's where I'm from. That's where my notary block is going to be done. Put in Hanover
Mhm.
County. I hit the bad button there. I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. Hanover. And then for the notary tags, in order to put the notary tags in, to the left of the one key on your keyboard, there is a back tick. So if I could use my pinky to hit back tick, and then I could put in the S tag for signature, an E tag over here for notary seal, and then I can put my disclosure at the bottom. Oops, wrong one there. All right, so I got a disclosure that we're required to put on there at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and put my name in there and put a text tag in for the date right there. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're having any trouble understanding how to do the tagging, just let me know in the chat or come off mute and let me know. Again, we only have 4 people on the meeting, so if anybody wants to come off mute and ask a question, feel free to do so. I'm going to just go ahead and finish up tagging this document just for the heck of it here. And again, this is just a sample. So these are not real people, so we don't have to worry about messing anything up here. And I'll go ahead. Now, tagging is not something that has to be done. You can do an entire signing session without tagging the documents ahead of time. The tagging is just to make the process go faster when you get into the signing session. I don't want to be wasting my signers' times. I want to get them through the process as quickly as possible. So I usually tag my documents ahead of time. That way, when I get into the meeting, it's very quick to get through the meeting. All they have to do is execute their tags and we can get this done very quickly.
Mhm.
Almost done with this here. Oop, got the wrong tags in there. Let me get that straightened out. All right, this document is tagged and ready to go. Now, when you're tagging your documents, if the system were to crash or you were to get out of this for a while and come back to it later, all these tags are saved automatically. You don't have to worry
Oh,
about
good.
losing any of the tags. Does somebody have a question? Maybe not. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and end this session now because the tags are all done on here.
I have a question, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, so with that disclosure, is there do you have that automatic or do you just do like copy and paste from your own?
I'm gonna show you a shortcut for doing that.
Okay.
Thank you for asking that because I'm gonna show you a shortcut for being able to do that because everybody's gonna have their own type of disclosures, their own county, their own state. There's no way I can make a tag for every person that for everything they could do. We do have these generic tags here for signature, initial, notary seal, text, a whiteout function. So these are all standard. Everybody's going to have a commission expiration date and a commission number, so we can use those tags. But we also have down here something called shortcuts. Shortcuts are programmable shortcuts that you can use inside a text tag. And you see, I've got some that are already created, and I'm going to show you how to create your own here in a little bit. So, for example, I have a notary that I work with whose name happens to be Susan Oliveira. So, just for sample, I created a tag where I can go in here and double click on the text tag and I hit apostrophe O and it puts in her information. I also have one a text tag shortcut where I double click on the text tag and then I hit apostrophe L. You can see over here apostrophe L on the right is the notary disclosure, and that puts in the notary disclosure entirely. So you can basically build your own shortcuts and do whatever you put whatever you want in there. I'm gonna go ahead and delete these out for the sake of numbers here, and I'll show you here. I've got a text tag. Double click on text apostrophe N gives me my entire notary block. So I can go ahead and have that pre-populated and I can create any shortcut tags that I want. And we do that from the notary profile on the main screen. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. When you end the session, over on the right-hand side where we had the notary settings, there's one over here called shortcuts. And in the shortcuts, you can create a shortcut for anything that you want to create it for. So let me just choose a name randomly out of my list here. I'm going to pick on Holly Bristol. Holly, what state are you from?
Arizona,
And what county?
Pima,
Kima?
Pima, P-I-M-A,
All right, so
P.
here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a shortcut here. I'm going to add a new shortcut. Get this out of the way. And I'm going to make this apostrophe H as my shortcut letter. And this is going to be for Bristol. And it's going to say State of Arizona, County of Pima, notarize this blank day of blank 2026 by Holly Pima, just for the sake of numbers there. And I'll go ahead and put a signature line down at the bottom, or Holly Bristol, I should say. And I can go ahead and add there. Um, let's see. So I've created a new shortcut that can be used over and over again, and it's apostrophe H. So when I go back into a signing session, like we were just doing, put a text tag in there, double click on it, apostrophe H. All that information is in there pre-populated, and I can go through and edit it as I need to put in the date and stuff of that nature. So it's just a way of being able to get text in there that you use on a repeated basis to make your process a little bit faster. And we can use that as many times as we need to. Now you'll notice over here on the right-hand side, I did not point this out. We do have the number of tags remaining. This tells you how many tags you placed that haven't been activated yet. And you can navigate from one tag to the next by using the next feature, which is actually more helpful in the signing session. So we're going to go right on into the signing session and show you how that works here. So in the signing session, for some reason my computer's about to die because the battery's dead. I got to fix that. Apologize here, guys. I didn't realize that my computer wasn't plugged in. It almost died on you here.
It only happens when you're talking to a group of people, right? That's what happens to me. If I'm just
Well, this
writing
see
something, there's no problems.
this is a challenge of working from home. See, sometimes I'm working in the
Hmm.
office, and sometimes I just take my computer with me and go watch TV for a while. And so I forget to plug it back in when I go back.
Gotta go over here and
Um,
do this
so
notary.
uh, so we're plugged in now. I'm going to go back into the
Mhm.
signing session now and show you what the signing session looks like. Okay, when you go into the signing session, first thing it's going to do here is it's going to check your camera. Now, my camera is not going to work right now because I have the Zoom camera on, so I'm going to turn the Zoom camera off and come back in, and it will allow me in now. So I'm going to start the session and continue on into the session here. Turn my camera off here because you don't need that. All right, and you'll see the exact same documents we had before. They're already tagged, but the signing session looks a little bit different. Now we have the video controls over here on the right. or the left, excuse me. So you'll be able to see all your signers when they come in. When a signer joins a session, you will see their name in the lower left-hand corner, and you have to admit the signer to let them into the session. They cannot get into the signing session until you let them in. Um, up here in the upper right-hand corner, we have begin notarization. The begin notarization is going to start the recording and it begins the signing session. You'll notice that you don't have any controls down here for tags until you begin notarization and check the IDs, because those are required elements in order to be, fully compliant. So we're going to go ahead and begin the notarization here. That's going to start the recording on the system. The recordings can never be deleted. These go into our permanent server on Amazon S3 server, so it becomes a permanent record on the system. Now, you also notice here that we still don't have any tags down here because we haven't verified the IDs yet. We actually have to go through here, and in this case, we're not going to be able to verify the IDs because I forgot to bypass the IDs on this one. So let me go back out of this and bypass the IDs so we don't have to do that on the sample system here. Give me 1 second. This is not something that you will be able to do because admin is the only one that can do this. I'm going to bypass the IDs so we're not prompted for that. And go back in here again. Begin the notarization. Now, you see, because normally what we would do is we'd go in here to the ID section. We would verify their ID, because even though they've already been approved through the automated verification system, notary law still requires that the actual notary verify the ID with the signer on the call. So we're going to go ahead and verify that. If for some reason their ID is not good, you have to reject it. You can reject it or request a retake. They do basically the same thing, and the signer will basically be prompted to redo the ID before you can continue. So we've got all three of the IDs verified, and now we have all of our tags down here that we can use in the session. So there's some disclosures that we have to go through that I always go through with my signers. I always ask my signers, first of all, is it okay to record the meeting? I always like to give verbal permission from that just to cover myself legally. The meeting is going to be recorded. Is that okay? I always ask them the same required questions that notary law requires that I ask. Have you read the documents and understand the contents? And I remind them that I am a notary, I am not an attorney, and I do not work for
Mhm.
the title company. So if there are any questions about the documents, we'll go back to the title company. And then I'll
Excellent.
ask them, are you signing of your own free will? Which sounds like a stupid question, but notary law requires that you ask, are you signing of your own free will? And they will answer that question. And then the last question, do you affirm under penalty of perjury the statements you're making in these documents are true to the best of your knowledge? That's the standard disclosure for basically for jurat. So we go ahead and get that out of the way. Once that's all done, then we can go right into the signing. The signers have the ability to scroll through the documents. They do not have the ability to change anything in the documents. They can't add text. They can't add signatures. They can't add anything to the document. It's all controlled by the notary. The notary has to have control of the system. Now, if Robert were to attempt to sign right now, he would not be able to because he's not the active signer. Right now, the notary is active. You see over here on the right-hand side, the notary is active. If I hit the 1 key on the keyboard, now Robert is active, and he would be able to click on that blue box to sign. So I would go ahead and tell him, go ahead and click on the blue box to sign. And then for Candace to sign, I would hit the 2 key on the keyboard, and Candace would be able to sign after that. So I can switch back and forth between 1 and 2 as I go through the document and have them sign each place we need to go. So as a notary, you probably give your signers a brief explanation of what the document is. If they want to go through the settlement statement with you, and if you can certainly go through the settlement statement with them and then have them sign the documents at the bottom. The yellow tags can be activated by anybody. They're yellow because they're universal tags, so the notary can activate them or the signer can activate them, either one. So as we go through here, I would explain this is the closing disclosure, the same thing as a settlement statement, just written in a different format. And I would say, Robert, go ahead and sign because he is active right now. And then I would switch it to 2 and have Candace do her signature. Now, you'll notice over here on the right, when Robert is active, right below Robert's name, you'll see contact and you'll see address. The contact button allows you to see their name and phone number. If you remember when I created this one, I did not put in a phone number in for Robert, so there's no phone number displayed here. That comes in handy if you're having some kind of issue where one of the signers has joined, but the other has not, and you need to call them. Phone number's right there. Or if for some reason they're having issues with their audio and you can't get the audio to work, you've got their phone number right there. You can call them and use the phone for the audio. You've also got their address in here because remember that your notary log is required to have the signer's address. Now, when we scan the ID, we grab the address that's on the ID. You still want to go back in here and verify that that address is the correct address that came from the ID because sometimes people have an ID, they move and they don't change the address on their ID. You need to have their current address on your notary log. So we have a place right here where you can go ahead and get that information. We want to make sure the notary log is as close to 100% accurate as we can. Now, for the signer's side, the signers will not see these contact and address buttons. What they'll see up here is they'll see a change signature button. The change signature button gives them the ability to change their signature while they're in the signing session. So, for example, if I saw John's signature said John Smith, I would make him change his signature to John Robert Smith so that it matches the signature line, just so I stay in compliance with notary law. Same thing for Candace. If she was signing as Candace Smith, I would have her change her signature to Candace Marie Smith and then continue on signing from there. Um, Hopefully that makes sense. Excuse me. And then for the notary section down here, let me get down to one of the notary blocks. I can fill in my name by clicking. I can fill in my signature by clicking. And the seal, when you click on the seal, it's going to ask you for what type of seal and who it applies to. This one applies to Robert and Candace, and let's say it's a jurat, just for the sake of numbers. It's going to put the seal in there for you, and it's going to update the audit trail automatically, indicating that we just did a jurat on that. You don't see jurat or acknowledgement on the document itself, but it is in the audit trail. The same as if you were doing a signing in person, your stamp doesn't say jurat or acknowledgement. It's just recorded in your audit trail that way or in your notary log. I'm going to go ahead and finish this one out here. This is going to be for the 30th. And I'll go ahead and sign that. Get my notary log up to date. And I'll make this one just an acknowledgement. Put my name in there. Oops, wrong name. Get the notary name in there. There we go. There we go. And the affidavit of condition of title is the last one. And this title package to be complete. So I would have to have the signers on here and go through each of these documents and have them sign. I cannot place their signature for them. They have to place their own signature. And since they are not on the call right now, I'm not going to be able to get their signatures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete their tags off of here just so I can show you how a document is completed. I'm just deleting each tag, going to next, and deleting each tag. Now, the reason I'm deleting these tags is I want to show you how we complete a document, and the system will not allow you to complete a document if there's an open tag. So I got to make sure there are no open tags on the system before I go to complete the document. Now, to complete the document, to say that I'm done, I'm going to click the complete button in the upper right-hand corner. If there were multiple documents in the list, we would have to hit complete for each document throughout the session. Since this one only has one document, we're just going to hit complete document. And that's going to complete the document and put a little stamp up here at the top that says it's completed. Once the document is complete, you can't do anything else with that document. It's done. So you want to make sure when you're doing a signing session that before you hit complete, before you end this, complete and then end the session, you want to make sure you are completely done with that document. There's no way to reopen that document. If something is wrong on that document at that point, you're going to have to do a new session. So we're going to go ahead and end that session now. That document is complete. And you'll notice here when we go back into that document on the dashboard or into that job, you'll see right here that document now says you can download the file document. It won't have the digital certificate on it yet. To get the digital certificate on there, we have to complete the job. So we've already completed the documents. And if there are multiple documents in the package, we're going to complete each individual document. Then we're going to come back over to this screen and complete the job. And when we complete the job, we have a few things here that happen. First of all, you'll notice here, I got to put in how much I charged for this job because in your notary log, you're required to keep a record of how much you charge for each of your notarizations. At least that's the way it is in Florida and Virginia. I assume it's the same way in Arizona and every state that I've looked at, the laws are pretty similar. Now it'll also not let me complete this job, the notary log, because I don't have an address in there for the signer. Remember when I was in there, I was showing you where you see the address on the signers' names. I didn't put anything in there. So since I didn't put anything in there, I'm not able to complete this job. So I'm just going to put some dummy information in here so I can complete this job. The notarization types are all kept just the same way you put them in there. You see, we had that one jurat, we had a couple of acknowledgments that we did, and it lists out everybody to that notarization applies to. So all we're doing here is we're making sure we have an accurate notary log. Um, some of the other systems out there, I'm not familiar with Pactimo, but I know with Proof and a couple of others, you don't really get a complete notary log. The notary log does not have all of the information that's supposed to be in there. Ours has every bit of the information that you're supposed to have in the notary log all the way through. So we're going to go ahead and commit that notary log in there. It gave me an error. Oh, I didn't confirm the fee. Now I can do it. I missed an address block somewhere. See, it's giving me errors because, oh, I didn't put the address on this one. So let me go ahead and fill that in. It's got to have something in the field or it won't let me complete. But it works now. There we go. So you can see where the errors come in. If you don't have it completed, the system is not going to let you complete the session. It will let you put in dummy information. If you want to do it wrong, you can do it wrong, like I just did. So it will let you put the information in there. All right, now, once we get to this point, you'll notice there's a little orange button down here that says release the documents to the signer. That is something that I put in for notaries that charge their clients for their signing. If you are waiting for the client to pay you, you can hold the documents until the signer pays you, and then you can release the document. Or if that signer has already paid you, or if you're certain they're going to pay you, go ahead and release the document, and then they'll be able to download the document right away from their system. They can also download the audit trail, the certificate of authenticity. If there were any ID reports, they would be right there. And then since we started the recording twice, we have 2 recordings in there as well. And if I want to download everything all in one shot, download all gets everything except for the recordings. I always have you download the recordings individually because they tend to be very large files, and we don't want to put them into the zip file. Any questions at this point on how to close out a job?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Back where you had the cost for the notary seal, did I see seal one, seal two, so you could put because I believe that if I remember exactly correctly, I need to put say $10 for each seal.
Okay, we do not have that on there. What we have is we have a price for the job.
Uh,
I That's something that I wasn't aware of. That may be something different in Arizona that we need to look at. You need to put in a price for each individual seal.
From what I'm looking at, I've only done general notary, so that's just a normal thing. You put the amount in for each
Yep.
entry, and I've not done a loan signing yet, so I don't know exactly, but I believe that was if I have to look at my notes, but it was really like specific where you'd put the $10 for each seal for the signing for
Okay,
each of the
our system
documents.
does not do that, but if that's something that I need to change, it would take me 10 minutes to change it. I could have my tech guy fix that very quickly. And so I'm going to ask you to double check that because the way ours works is you put in a price for the job that goes on the first seal, and then the others are included on the first seal. You see the fee is included on the first seal. So basically, in
I
this
see.
case, it was a single document. We had $130 for that one signing, and there was nothing else. But anytime that there's multiple seals, like this one here has multiple seals, it was $25 for the job, and the others were just included on the first seal. Um, so I would check that. This is the way that we've always done it. I've been doing this 7 years, and I've never seen it done any other way.
I could
Um,
be wrong.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm not from, like I say, every when
right.
we got 50 different law, law sets if you have here. So if there's something different in Arizona law that I've done incorrectly, I'll fix it. It's real simple to fix it. But I would suspect that the way we're doing it is probably going to be compliant. We've done signings in Arizona, and I've never had one kicked back at me. But in all honesty, I've been doing this 7 years, and very seldom does anybody ever ask to look at my notary log.
Right.
It's very rare for anybody to want to look at it.
I wonder if it's because the electronic, it already, when you go back, you can see how many seals there were anyway. So if it adds up to 10 each or something, I don't know. I'll
Well,
check and I'll
when
check
you
for you and
start doing
see.
signings, you'll have some signings that'll be three seals. When you start doing
Hmm.
loan paperwork and title work, you'll have some that'll be three seals, and you'll have some that'll be 18 or 20 seals.
Oh.
And yeah, I know for me, when I do a title closing, I charge $130. And if it has 17 seals in there, it's still $130. So I just put in the price of the first seal, $130, and the rest of them are included. Um, so that's the way that I've always done it. If it needs to be done a different way, actually let me know, and I'll be more than happy to change it.
Absolutely. I'll look into it. I make
Okay.
sure that I don't get confused too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
one of the reasons that we're not fully approved in all 50 states is every state has their own legal requirements and approval process. We are approved right now in about 26 states and will be in 35 within another couple of weeks. But there are some states that I'm not going to get approved in, at least not for a while. I'm not approved in Rhode Island. Their laws are very complicated, so I'm not even going to attempt it for unless I have a lot of notaries up there that want to join the session. It doesn't make sense. Now, obviously, we're going to be approved in Arizona, Florida, Texas, Chicago, Utah is already approved. Those kind of the bigger states we're definitely going to be approved in, but it's really going to be on a case by case basis as we go forward beyond the 30 or so that we're already in.
Hmm.
I got a chat question here. Am I approved in Maryland? Ask me again on Friday, and the answer will be yes, because we have been told that we are getting our approval this week, but they haven't actually sent me the paperwork yet. So we've already been told, we've already spoken with the Secretary of State, and they said yes, the package is ready to go. They just got to put me through send me the paperwork and say it is, and then I'll be good to go there. We are approved in Delaware. We're approved in DC, of course, Virginia. South Carolina may never get approved because they can't figure out what the law is in South Carolina. They've changed the law 4 times in the past year. So it's hard to say when we're going to get approved there. But what other
Are
states do we have?
are you approved in Arizona?
Arizona, we're good to go.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we are definitely good to go in Arizona. Arizona, Texas, Florida, Virginia, are the biggest states that we've been in so far. We've got a few in Utah, and we're going to be opening up Illinois here within 2 weeks. Any other states that we have represented here? I guess not. Okay. All right. So at this point, where we are is I've shown you how uh, to create a job, how to go through and tag a job and complete the job. If you go on to my YouTube page and watch the videos that are there, you will see a few more jobs that we've done so you can kind of review the process. I've got one video in there that goes through the compliance questions. So you can see exactly what questions I ask on every signing that I do. Um, and you can kind of go through those videos and get a better idea of exactly how to do things. Once you get your profile complete and I approve your profile, I will set up a one-on-one appointment with you where we will spend about a half hour to 45 minutes together, and I will complete your training. And we'll do that by setting up a signing session where you are the signer, and you will go through the full signing process with me. And then I'll also set up a signing session where you are the notary and I'll be the signer, and we'll go through the signing process. You'll see it both ways. So you'll be able to see exactly how all the signing process works and go through everything. But I need you to have your profile completed first before we go that so I can approve your profile and make sure we're all good to go. Does anybody have any other questions that they want to throw out there before we close out today? All right. And again, just I will make sure everybody gets a link to my Sharpnote YouTube page so you have that. And I encourage you to go ahead and start getting your profile information together. Get it online, and we'll start working you through through the process here. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Have
Have
a
a good
great
night.
day and have a great weekend.
Yes, there will be a replay on the YouTube channel. I will have my assistant will put that up first thing tomorrow morning. There's also a replay up there of the last one that we did last Sunday, which is the same thing that we just did. So you could go back and watch that one as well. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.